What's good, everybody? Welcome into the early edge. And yes, you start to see the energy start to ramp up. We are exactly an hour away from the 1 o'clock starts, week one of the NFL season, and we have you locked and loaded right here at the early edge. Every single Sunday, we're going to be doing 3 different shows. Our morning show at 10 a.m., this show from noon to 1 Eastern time, then later tonight, 7 to 8:15 Eastern time, we will have you all kinds of recapped and ready for Sunday Night Football as well. Now, we are powered by SportsLine. Our incredible partners are Caesar Sportsbook. They have a promotion right now that if you bet every game on the board today, $100 bet or more, and you hit at least 10, they will give you a $1,000 free bet. So for all of you that like to bet every game, there you go, courtesy of Caesar Sportsbook. Now, if we're going to do an hour-long show and get you ready for every single game, we have got to move. So let's bring in the stars of the show. And you know what I'm bringing out today. He is our prop guru at Prop Stars on social media. Alex, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm great, Coach. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm pumped. I'm fired up and ready to go. So is M Squared right below me. Mikey, what's good?
Not a lot, Coach. Running through a lot of daily fantasy updates still. I know I have a lot of people asking me about that. SportsLine will be getting updated throughout the show in between times when I'm talking here. So I know we'll have a lot of questions about that, but fired up, ready to go. It's going to be a fun day.
And everybody watching live in our comment section, this show is the most interactive show you will ever find when it comes to sports betting, especially the day of the games. So give us a question. We'll get to as many questions as we possibly can as we rip through every single game. AB, what's good?
Hey, Coach, doing great. Good to see you twice in one morning. Fantastic, buddy.
I wish I could say the same. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Game number 1, Eagles-Falcons, minus 3.5 Atlanta. It's been teetering around that 3.5. The total 48.5, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Now, where we stand, the plays we've already given out, because remember, we did our week 1 mega preview last Tuesday, and we've been playing these throughout. So Alex is on Gage under 55.5 receiving yards, and then Dave is on Mike Davis over 14.5 receiving yards. We'll be doing some props here on the show to mainly focus on the spread and the total and your questions. So, Mikey, let's start with you on this one today. It's a battle of a newer quarterback in Jalen Hurts, Matty Ice. He's got to get Atlanta going. What is your take on where the spread is right now?
So I actually agree with the way the spread's moved. It was at 3. It's now sitting 3.5 for the Falcons. I do think the Eagles will be a better team. I think they'll have some success running the ball against this Falcons defense. But in this environment at home, I think Matty Ice is going to surprise a few people. Actually playing Matt Ryan a little bit in daily fantasy today. I think this game has shootout potential, but I really think it's correct. I think that 3 was a good number if you could get the Falcons there. I know a lot of people might disagree on the other side, but this one is one that I think I've seen a lot of contrast, a lot of short people on both sides of this one, a lot of opinions of this Philadelphia Eagles team. But as of right now, I agree with where it was. I make the Falcons minus 4.7. Tiny bit of value left still if you want. But yeah, that's where I'm at there. I think that I would lean towards the over. I think that there's some sharp takes out there on the under as well, but I would lean towards the over as I do think it could be a shootout. I think that Matt Ryan's got a big weapon here with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, look, I'm going to jump in on Mike here. I agree. I think the Falcons are the better team. I think they have the better quarterback. I think the better overall team, and they're playing at home. Also, 2 brand new head coaches, but I trust in Arthur Smith. I've seen him here in Nashville. Legitimately, the guy has built himself up from making copies and coffee. I'm not even kidding. This guy's the most organized man in the NFL. You notice the Falcons were the first team 100% vaccinated. The first team got down to 53 on the roster. Arthur Smith does not play around. He will be organized. Matt Ryan will be better this year than people think. I think the Falcons are a good bet today.
I love that nugget today. Whenever you go week 1 of the NFL season, it's hard to say historical numbers because it's a new squad, new players, and all of that. But just to play devil's advocate a little bit, Falcons are 0-5 against the spread in their past 5 season openers. But the Eagles were 1-7 against the spread on the road last year. So something's got to give today. And I have a feeling we're going to go with the Falcons. Quickly, Alex, since you're on a prop here, you still like that Gage under 55.5 receiving yards?
I do, Coach. Yeah, I think Gage really benefited last year from having Julio on the outside, obviously, with Calvin Ridley. This year, they're actually talking about moving him from the slot to outside receiver, which I think will, he'll command a lot more defensive attention. I also think the Eagles quietly got a lot better in the secondary. They added Steven Nelson. They also added safety Anthony Harris. I think the Eagles are actually going to be quite a bit better, at least on the defensive side of the ball this year. So, yeah, if you can still find 55.5 yards for Russell Gage, I like the under a lot.
All right, very good. We do have a question in the comment section. Casey Nax. This one goes to Mikey. Mikey, should I start Matt Ryan and sit Justin Herbert today?
I probably would, yeah. I think that Herbert obviously has the ability to get there through his legs, and it's not going to surprise anyone if they take that giant step forward. But overall, I do like Matt Ryan here. I think that they're going to be able to run it up a little bit, and I really think they're going to look to throw the ball in the red zone with Ridley, with Pitts. I think Mike Davis can catch passes out of the backfield, so I would, but I also am on the other side of that game. I played Washington +1 on the sports betting side. Line movement all the way to -2 right now. So feeling pretty good about that position overall. I would play Matt Ryan over Herbert today.
Yeah, I took Washington in one of my survivor pools that I'm in today. I had a hard time finding a team, and they were the one that I felt like all of us were kind of pushing the Washington football team. Do us a favor, by the way, hit that like button for us so we can help us out at YouTube as we continue to grow the brand. Just hit a like, and we may or may not give away a year-long subscription if we get to a certain number. But that's not what today's show is all about. All right, let's move on now because we got to get to 14 different games. One of the marquee matchups, Steelers and the Bills. Bills are given 6.5. The total 47.5. The Bills are a really, really sexy team this year. Josh Allen got his contract, so he's locked into Buffalo for the foreseeable future. And the Bills are a team that a lot of people, guys, feel like could be a Super Bowl team this year. AB, do you think this number is right?
Yeah, I think the number is right, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it climb a little bit more in the next 45 minutes. The Bills are just so much better offensively. They're going to be able to do whatever they want. I know that the Steelers and Mike Tomlin are dangerous as an underdog, but this isn't the same Steelers team of the last 10 years. Plus, let's not forget, the Bills can play defense too. So I don't know what the Steelers expect to do. I'm just looking at a number. I don't see any way that they get above 21 points, and I think the Bills get to 30. So I don't have anything on the total, but 6.5 Bills, absolutely.
Last year, there were several games, and this is the thing I like about the Bills. They'll continue to score. If they're up by 10, they're not going to sit on the ball. They continue to throw it. They love Josh Allen more than I think they love their running game. And Stephon Diggs, I think he wants to be the premier receiver in all of football, and he wants to show that starting today. So let me ask you, Alex, for those people who may like a Josh Allen prop or a Stephon Diggs prop, how do you like that team against that defense today?
Yeah, I think the Steelers' defense is obviously solid, but yeah, like you mentioned, the Bills, they kind of step on your neck when they've got a lead. They're not afraid to keep throwing the ball late into the third, into the fourth quarter. They're very aggressive offensively. So, yeah, I think the offensive props on the Bills are pretty appropriately set. So there's nothing that really caught my eye in this game. On the other side, though, I do think there is some value in Juju. I think Juju is going to have a lot of targets out of the slot. I think there's still a lot of questions with the Steelers' offensive line. They're going to be forced to throw a lot. And, yeah, I'm looking at Juju catches. If you can find over 4.5 at some decent value, I think that's pretty good.
Boy, you are quite the producer, Alex. Go ahead, Mikey. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I would chime in there too. And I tend to agree that I would lean on the reception total more than the yardage total. One thing of note, we don't get into wind and weather a ton here, but the weather in this game, the wind is right on the threshold of being enough to really impact deep passing game. We're going to have winds at 20 to 25. Gusting, kind of swirling a little bit in there. I think that especially on the Pittsburgh side, it's going to lead to some shorter passes more frequently. So I do like that prop, but just note that as far as yardage props and deep balls, there could be some issues with the wind swirling in that stadium today.
Thank you very much. Where we stand in that game already is right from what you guys are talking about. From our prop show on Friday, which is also in your feed right now, Dave Richard is on Juju Smith-Schuster over 4.5 receptions. It was at 140 on Friday. It continues to move just a little bit. And then Sia is on the receiving prop. So you got two different things to choose from depending on what you want to do, but listen to what Mikey said there as well. All right, moving on to game number 3. And even though these aren't two great franchises, there is a lot of interest in this game. You've got a really good rookie quarterback for the Jets, Zach Wilson. Then on the other side, you got the old quarterback for the Jets, and that's Sam Darnold. They are giving 3.5. That's a number that has moved up from 3. The total's at 45. Where we stand currently in that game, we've got Robbie Anderson over 4.5 receptions from our show this morning. AB, you still like that one?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I think that Sam Darnold, especially the tighter that this game gets, the more he's going to look to something and a person that he knows in Robbie Anderson. It's almost going to be like a rookie quarterback with a tight end. I think Robbie Anderson is a great play for this game. I would be surprised if this smashes by halftime early in the third quarter. He's going to look to him early and often.
I've got a prop that I gave out on Friday that I really like from this game. It's Elijah Moore. Over 40.5 yards. I think it's up to around 43.5 to 44.5. If you can still find it under 45.5, I would bet the over. I really like this prop a lot. Jamison Crowder is going to be inactive, so Elijah Moore is going to be the starting slot receiver for the Jets. He's an extremely explosive rookie. He's been very impressive in the preseason, and he's gotten rave reviews throughout training camp. I think the Zach Wilson to Elijah Moore connection is going to be awesome today. And I like that prop a lot.
Awesome. Very, very good. Other places where we stand in this game, Sia likes Christian McCaffrey over 71.5 rushing yards. And then Maddie has the Panthers in a money line parlay along with the Packers. Do we like the Panthers today as far as I think I like that money line play more than I like the spread play. Mikey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel more comfortable with the money line than spread, but I do think they end up covering and pulling away here. And I do like that correlation with Christian McCaffrey. I do think that they're going to be ahead just enough that they're going to pound the rock with him. He's going to go over that total as they kind of stretch it out down the stretch here and late in the second half. But overall, I like it. I wish I could be on the Jets side. There's just so much out and so much new that I'd really rather not invest in the rookie quarterback making his debut on the road. Just not a spot that I really need to get my money in today. So if I miss the boat on that one, I'll look to invest on him later in the season. But overall, I think it's a pretty easy fade early this season.
I'm with Mike on this. I definitely think the Panthers, I think the money line is the best play here. 3.5 especially, that could be a tough number. An interesting nugget. In the history of the entire New York Jets, when a rookie has started in week 1, never lost. 4-0. Never lost.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Wow. Now I'm going to back that up one step further. Quarterbacks in their first career start are 18-5 against the spread over the past 2 seasons. So it all leans towards Zach Wilson. But we know how that goes when everything looks like it's going to go to the one side. It doesn't. All right, moving on. Game number 4 today, Vikings and the Bengals. Minnesota, a road favorite, giving 3. The total sitting at 47. This is a 1 o'clock Eastern game on Fox. And right before the show started, the Maestro called in and said, you got to get this pick on the show. So, Maestro, we got you. We got you. And he loves the Vikings giving the 3 over the Fighting Joe Burrows in Cincinnati. AB, do you agree with Maestro or not?
Oh, completely agree with him. I think that the Vikes are going to come in and do pretty much whatever they want. It's been a terrible offseason. Mike Zimmer's been, quite frankly, just upset and mad at everybody. And remember, he's going back to a place where he coached for so long in Cincinnati as well. I'm all over this one. And Mike Zimmer, since coaching the Minnesota Vikings, has the best week 1 cover percentage in that entire span in the NFL. Yeah, Larry, but Maestro's spot on here.
Where do you guys come up with this stuff? The stuff you guys come up with is amazing. Alex, you're on a prop in this game. Tyler Boyd over 4.5 receptions. Still on it?
I am. I love this prop, Coach. Boyd had at least 5 catches in 8 of 10 games last year that Joe Burrow played. They displayed great chemistry last year. Boyd averaged just under 7 catches per game with Burrow at quarterback. The Vikings defense gave up the 5th most targets to opposing slot receivers in 2020. I also think the Vikings front 7 is very formidable. They're going to really challenge the Bengals offensive line and force Joe to throw a lot. I don't think he's going to have a lot of time in the pocket, and I think he's going to be forced to lean on a security blanket. That has proven to be Boyd and will continue to be. So, I love Boyd over 4.5 receptions.
Alex, I thought I made it very clear when we hired you onto the early edge that there's a very, very, very strict rule to not use words that AB cannot spell. So let's not use formidable anymore because the look on his face was just Didn't even know what you were saying. Didn't know what you were saying. Two other props that we love here from C on our prop show. Cousins over 258.5 passing yards. And then just a little sprinkle on the Vikings to be the highest scoring team of the week at plus 1,400. Is there any value on that? Because I love long shot plays. Does anybody like that for today? Highest scoring team today, Vikings? Nobody likes that.
So I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Obviously, it's obvious at that massive payout. Certainly wouldn't be one of my first choices, but that's the reason why it's 1,400. I think that for them to be the highest scoring team like that, they're going to need a defensive or special teams touchdown at a key moment, likely later in the second half when they're already up. If you want to throw it in, I'm not going to bet it personally, but it's going to take something like that. It's going to take a late special teams play when they're already up 15-20. So it's going to have to be a blowout scenario, in my opinion. I don't envision the scenario where you look at a 3-point spread. I don't envision the scenario where Cincinnati puts up 40 points in this game. So,
all right, very good, very good. All right, we've got to move on down the line. By the way, a big shout out to the Maestro watching in our comment section right now as we speak. So a lot of plays are moving. We're going to get to all the games before 1 o'clock Eastern time. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is Early Edge Live. For those of you just sliding into the show right now, hit that like button for us. Let's get as many as we possibly can live on the show. Now, according to Caesars Sportsbook, this next game is the most bet game on the board in terms of dollars. It started around 7.5, and now all the way up to 9 on the road in the NFL. San Francisco 49ers. The Lions total for wins was 4. That was the future bet, 4. AB, Larry is on the 49ers -8. He got it a few days ago. It's now up to -9. What do you think of the spread?
Yeah, it's tough. That's a big spread. Historically, you see the stat there. 49ers won 11-1 against the spread last 13 to 7-point favorite. The historicals tell you not to do it. This 49ers team is going to score, and I think that they're going to use both Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo in different spots today. They're going to run the ball, and I don't believe in Dan Campbell and the Lions whatsoever. Normally, I wouldn't play it, but I'm with the Maestro here. I think it's a good shot.
God, it just seems like such a big number, Mike.
Yeah, it's a big number. If you have a reason to like it, I think it's fine. But I think the most important thing to understand, especially week 1, if you don't I assume we all have a lot of action out there anyway. If you don't have to play the game. No one's forcing you to play this game.
That's
I personally am not playing it. The data is going to tell me that I need to be backing the Lions at +9, as this game should be -7.8. It is interesting now that Mostert is going to be the lead back for the 49ers for sure, with Sermon already ruled out. I'm going to sit this one out. The model says there's just a slight little value on the Lions, so not going to shock me at all if they cover. Other recommendations would be potentially look to watching this game live, look for a live bet opportunity, find the player prop that you want. But overall, I will not be laying that big of a road number here. Just if my model can't get behind it, there's no reason for me to press it.
You just hit a perfect scenario. We always talk on the show about educating and entertaining, and that's one of the things that I used to struggle with, because when you get to the week 1 in the NFL, you want to bet every game on the board instead of finding the ones you really feel strongly about and maybe betting a little bit more if you have to do that. But I used to do that all the time. Today, maybe for the first time that I can remember, because of you guys and doing the show, I understand that sometimes the best bets are the best bets you don't make, and this just feels like something to stay away from at 9 points. It just feels that way. So, Mike, I'm glad you brought that up. Other things that we were on in this game, of course, there had to be a Justin Perry sighting. Jay Smooth had to send in a play. He has a parlay, Bucks, 49ers, Rams, money line. Bucks, 49ers, and Rams money line pays +105 if you'd like to go there. Dave has Sanu under 21.5 receiving yards, and Sanu longest reception under 14.5 yards. And then Sermon is not playing today. So those of you who put in, please, he's not playing today. But then, Alex, you also have a prop in this game. Tell the good people what it is.
Yeah, so I've got Raheem Mostert under 17.5 rushing attempts. Like you and Mike mentioned, that Sermon is inactive this game. I wasn't anticipating that when I made this bet. I still like the bet, but the number has since gone down. I think I've seen it as low as 15.5. I would encourage you to stay away at that number if you can still find it on books at 17.5. I like it there. But yeah, Mostert did not eclipse this total one time last year. He was 0 for 8 in his entire career. 48 games in the regular season. He has gone over 18 carries just once.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Let me stop you right there. For people that are watching, I want you to repeat that number again.
One time in his 5-year, 48-game regular season career, he has eclipsed this total twice in the playoffs, but one time in 48 games has he had more than 18 carries. So
that is less than 5%.
Pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mostert's just never been a workhorse back. He's had durability issues throughout his career. He's had trouble staying healthy. I also think the spread could factor into this prop a little bit from the sense that the Niners could be up big in the second half. They've got no reason to essentially give Mostert his career high or season high in rushing attempts in the first game versus the Lions. So yeah, if you can still find this at 17.5 or even 16.5, I like playing the under quite a bit.
Wow, I got mine in at 17.5. I certainly did. All right, moving on to another game that is actually getting some interest, even though it's two horrible AFC South teams. We're talking the Jags, -3.5 at the Texans, who don't know what they're doing. The total 45.5, 1 p.m. Eastern on our network, CBS. Now, the entire storyline of this game is Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. There you see on the screen some of the different stats and numbers and all this kind of stuff. But bottom line, this is the Jags and this is the Texans. AB, would you ever give 3.5 with a rookie quarterback starting against any team in the league?
No, especially, on the road. I don't like this one at all. And plus, you've got Tyrod Taylor, who is a formidable quarterback. Hey, I learned a word today. Thank you so much for that one. No, I don't like this number for the Jaguars. Urban Meyer. Trevor Lawrence is going to look good. He looks like a veteran, but no. Even if the Texans have tried to just quit the offseason went together, no. I don't like the Jaguars here at all. This seems fishy to me.
It does. Texans, you can see on the screen, 6-game winning streak against the Jags, and even if you don't have a really great quarterback, you got to have a good one, a serviceable one. And that's what Tyrod Taylor certainly is. Mikey, what do you make of this 3.5 number?
So I think that the Texans plus the points is the way to go, personally. I want to see it with Trevor Lawrence. I think this game's going to be a shootout. I think the best play is the over in this game. That's actually one that I have on SportsLine. These defenses are terrible, but Taylor is still mobile enough. There's still enough going on, and that Jaguars defense is awful. And I really don't believe in Urban Meyer's ability to have everything ready to go quite this early in the season. So I think that getting 3.5 there with that team at home, I think it's an absolute gift, as I think this is a true coin flip here. So that's the way I would go if I had to bet the game. But I also took the over 45. I think that's the strongest play in the game without a doubt.
Yeah, I got to get mine in. I've got to be able to make the bets as we're doing the show. That takes talent, but we can do it because that's what we do. We have great, intelligent bosses that allow us to do that. So if I look down, that's what I'm doing. Or I may be looking at the rundown. We don't know yet. Other places where we stand on this game. RJ, he's also backing you, Mikey. He loves the over in this game. Jay Smooth, this should give us some pause. He also loves the over in this game. And then AB, you've got a prop you gave out this morning. Tell me what it is and why.
Yeah, on which one? Robbie Anderson or Carson Wentz here?
Carson Wentz.
Yep, Carson Wentz. So I'm
not even in the right game. Carson Wentz doesn't play for Texas. What am I thinking? My apologies. Right. Although nobody knows where Carson Wentz plays these days, it seems like. How about we talk about on the next game? Because I had it on the game next game. Seahawks, -3. At the Colts, total 49, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Where we stand on this game, RJ is on the under 48.5, and then AB, you're on the Seahawks plus the points and a prop. I'll let you go first now, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got the Seahawks way back when they were a positive number, which was very, very smart for everyone who jumped on it. Congratulations. And then, yes, a prop bet today, Carson Wentz plus 105 to over a half an interception. So essentially Carson just has to throw an interception today. I couldn't believe that it was a positive number, even though the Colts do like to run the football. Yeah, I'm going to bet my money that Carson throws at least one.
I like that because he's going to be incredibly rusty. He hasn't played any time at all in the preseason. He's had health issues that we know about. In this game, the Seahawks, with Russell Wilson as quarterback, they are great in the Eastern time zone, and they're also great at the start of the season. Would you play Seattle on the road here, Mikey?
I think it's okay to lean that way for sure. I like a lot of weapons that they have. So there's this game I'm very interested to watch. I'm going to be watching this one for sure. My initial reaction was I was going to hammer the under, especially as it crept up to 50. However, I paused pretty significantly on this one. This is one I ended up staying away. I have to make some adjustments in the model. The new offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, they're adding a lot of complexity to it, which is good because Russell Wilson is smart and able to handle that. But look for them to play a little quicker pace this season. Look for them to maybe huddle a little less, let him make those decisions at the line. I think that's going to happen. I think it's going to lead to really good things for the big three, and that's going to be Metcalf, Lockett, and Chris Carson. But I ended up pausing on it. My initial reaction and the initial modeling was also under. However, I think that some of us are not accounting for the changes that are happening on the offensive coordinator side of the ball with Seattle. So I'm off of it. I'm not playing anything in the game other than a lot of exposure in daily fantasy, but I'm going to be watching very closely. That's it. That's where I'm at on that one.
Hey, let me jump in really quickly, Mike. When you look at the Seahawks to next week, they're at home against the Titans. In the history of Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll at home in Seattle in the month of September, they've lost one time. That's it. Once.
Wow.
Yep. So keep an eye on that for when that line comes out tomorrow morning or tonight when they do. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And, of course, watch the Week 2 mega preview on Tuesday, as I'm quite certain we will have something on that game as well. All right, moving on. We're almost to the bottom of the hour. If you're just joining us, you're watching Early Edge Live. We're here every single afternoon except for Saturdays with whatever that day's topic is. Of course, we're talking Week 1 NFL football. We're counting on every single game today, and right now we're coming up to the Cardinals and the Titans. Tennessee, they are a super, super sexy pick this year. -3, the total 54. Ryan Tannehill now is in complete control of that offense. They have Julio Jones on the other side. Brown, it's going to be an amazing offense. Their total is, it seems like every week, the total or the over is the bet on the total. So that's where we're going to start. Do you like that 54 total? Because it's gone up from 53. And AB, let's start with you. And then Alex, you can piggyback here, pal.
Yep. So I think that Mike said it best this week. This is the most sharp game that the books are on. The total seems right. The spread seems right. This one's going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, I do like the over. I think Tennessee is going to jump right in, score points. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are going to as well. This is going to be a quick game. Both teams like to run. This is going to be a fast-moving game. Also, I don't have a play on it, but if you're looking for a prop bet out of this game that nobody's talking about, look to Titans tight end Anthony Ferkser. You could probably get a very low number here. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Tannehill, look for receptions, not yardage. I bet he hits him a lot today.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with AB. I like that tight end on Ferkser prop. That's definitely really solid. As far as the total's concerned, I think it's also kind of right on the money. All week I've been hearing people slamming the over. That generally has me erring on the side of caution a little bit. But yeah, I think that the number is spot on. If anything, I'm staying away at 54. I think it's high. It's obviously going to be a fast-scoring or high-scoring game, but I agree with AB that it's also going to be a quick game. The Titans are going to run the ball a lot. It's going to move fast. So, yeah, I'm either staying away or, I think 54 is spot on.
Okay, very good. Mike, you gave out one this morning that we liked a lot. Could you give the people that didn't see that show what you like in this game?
Yeah, so I'm on Rondale Moore over 31.5 receiving yards. I think that, like I mentioned, this is just a brutal spot for the sports books to set a line here. It's just not, obviously he's competing with DeAndre Hopkins and a lot of usage overall. Kyler's going to run. They've got Edmonds, all of those things. However, he is capable of getting this on one play. He is an absolute stud. He's going to have success at the NFL level. I'd rather be early than late to the party on this because once he gets this number, he's routinely going to be 50 to 54 yards if he has the role that we think he's going to have. And then it's just the perfect shootout for him. I have a little caution if this was a game against, say, the Rams or something, but I love this game in the AFC against the Titans here. I think it's an absolute shootout. I don't ever really caution and say if you want to just go in and bet the over on a lot of props. If there was one game where I do think you can bet a lot of receiving yardage over props, it's probably this one. And the reason why I think people love the total so much is there are so many electric players on both sides of the ball that without a doubt, I think we see multiple 50-plus yard plays in this game. And that's why. So I love the over 31.5. Again, I think it should be closer to 50. Big unknown, but I'm going to be early rather than late on Rondell Moore this year.
Well, I tell you what, and you bring up a great point that everything is correlated together. Now, there's one more play that Sia gave out on Friday that I particularly don't like. And the reason I don't like it is because I think I have the Tennessee Titans to win and cover the spread. In order to do that, they would have to, and I'm not a math major, score more points than the Cardinals. Am I correct? So he likes the Cardinals to be the highest scoring team this week at plus 1,800. Clearly, I hate that play because I'm on the Titans. Does anybody else like that play?
Let me say this. I don't love that play, but remember, Tennessee has a brand new offensive coordinator in Todd Downing and a brand new defensive coordinator too, even though it's still kind of Mike Vrabel's defense. So there's going to be a lot with that. And the Titans last year had historically the worst third down defense in the history of the NFL. So there's going to be points scored in this game, but Tennessee's going to score them too, man. Like this is going to be a fun one.
All right, very, very cool. By the way, we have a whole bunch of people watching right now, so we need you to hit that like button. And I've decided if we get to 100, because you were just watching, you're taking in the information, writing it all down, just hit the like button very quickly. It helps us out. We'll give away a year-long sub to somebody who does not have one. Leave your Twitter handle in the comments section as well. Okay, let's move on to a game that has a lot of interest with us here at SportsLine and around the country. The Chargers, new coaching staff, second-year quarterback who's really, really talented, traveling all the way to the nation's capital to take on the Washington football team. This line has moved so much since Tuesday when we did our mega preview show. Now, Maddie, the lady killer, he was on Washington when it was a pick'em. They're now at, -2, I believe, is the last time that we saw him. The total is at 45, and Dave on the prop show was on Ryan Fitzpatrick under 37.5 passing attempts. Mikey, let's start with you because this line, if I'm not mistaken, moved more than any other line this week. What do you like at -2?
Yeah, -2. I'd probably still play Washington if I had to. So I gave this one out a little bit. I bet it on SportsLine at +1. Obviously got a lot of line movement. I did mention, though, that it was going to flip, and I mentioned that because of the number it was at, that I would have preferred taking the alternate line on the -1, -1.5, and getting plus money on it at the time. I'll take that same stance here. At -2, I would probably basically sell the point, take the alternative line, get it all the way to get the -2.5, bring that juice down to even money if you can. But that's where I'm at on this. I think that the Washington defense is going to be good enough. Looks like Eckler's going to play. I think that if you say, all right, you want a little protection against it, I think that Keenan Allen's yardage prop is interesting. Unfortunately, I lost out to other people in the market on that one. I believe the total was 56.5 for a while. That number's up to 61.5 now. I think it's right about efficient. I have him about 62, but not enough edge for me to play it with the juice. But that's one way I would lean. But as of right now, if you had to go in and play it, I would still play Washington. And then I would maybe consider Keenan Allen on the other side.
Alex?
Yeah, this is actually the only spread that really attracted my attention this week. I love the Washington football team. I think they're maybe possibly the most underrated team in football. I think the defense is going to be potentially dominant this year. You've got San Diego traveling across the coast. Very early start for them. We all know the historical splits on those. They don't tend to do well. I think the Washington football team got a lot better in the offseason. I love the improvements and additions they've made on offense. I think the defense is going to be just dominant, especially that front four is just going to be superb. So, I love the Washington football team this week.
Yeah, let me say this let me say this game will be decided between the Washington football team front four and the Chargers offensive line. If Herbert has time, he can pick them apart. He can pick anybody apart. If he does not have time, Washington's good enough. They'll run all over him.
Yeah. Let me ask real quick, and I apologize. Alex, did you have something you wanted to hit on with the Titans game that I didn't get to you?
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback on what Mike was saying. I would only look overs in that game as well. I fully agree with that take. And yeah, I love Rondell Moore as well. That is a prop that I've been looking at a lot. I bet it personally. I think it's exceptional. We saw in the preseason, Cliff Kingsbury was very, very creative with getting the ball in his hands in lots of different ways. I think he's going to get a lot of touches. I think he's going to eventually assert himself as the second option in that passing attack. And yeah, I love that number. I think I agree with Mike. It'll be the last time we see it this low.
All right, very good. Get those plays in right now. And I appreciate all of you. When I give you a call to action, you do it right away because 60 of you, boom, in 30 seconds, hit that like button. So we're over 100. We're getting a winner right now. Leave your Twitter handle either in the comment section or in the comment section at our YouTube page, which is the same one. And then if we get to 200 likes, we'll give out 2 year-long subscriptions. Pat just had a nice comment that he's been a SportsLine member. It pays for itself. It's the best value in sports betting, and it's not even close at all. All right, moving on. We got several more games to get to, but we're to the 4:25 games now. Perfect time. We have about 15 to 20 minutes left. We want to give you time at the end of the show too to get to your book and get these plays in. So the Chiefs, they've gone to the last 2 Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes said in the offseason his entire goal this season is to win every single game. They have a completely retooled offensive line. They believe they're going to go to a 3rd straight Super Bowl and win a 2nd. There's some of the numbers on your screen. It's -5.5. It's actually come down from where it started. AB, let's start with you. Where do you like the spread on this game?
I love the Chiefs -5.5 for everything you just laid out, what you see on the graphic here. Plus, Patrick Mahomes, he's 7-0 straight up against AFC North teams in his career. And pretty much, like you said, motivation. They have said once the Super Bowl ended that they were coming this year. Their offseason spending reflects that. The team attitude reflects that. They want to win this game, and they are not going to take the foot off of the gas. The Browns haven't won a Week 1 game since 2004. Wild. Yeah, give me the Chiefs all day in this one.
That is just crazy. Mikey, what do you make of the spread on this one? Obviously, it's one of the most popular games of the week.
Yeah, no, it's one of the most popular games of the week. It was the first play I locked in for the season, actually. I did take Kansas City at -6. Obviously, there are very sharp people in the world that disagree with me. You can get this one almost down to 4.5. It's probably going to close at 4.5 in some spots. I completely just disagree. There's a lot of bad taste in the mouth of Kansas City. Getting to have this game at home in front of fans for like the first time in a long time. Arrowhead's going to be ready to go on this one. Everyone is healthy. And again, we're still discounting the improvements that this Kansas City Chiefs team made on the offensive line. That's going to give Patrick Mahomes enough time to pick them apart here. So absolutely love Kansas City in this one. I think that some of the Browns hype, while I think that they have a great shot throughout this season, especially in their division, I think it's a little overstated here in this. Last time they met, Patrick Mahomes left the game injured, played with a depleted offensive line. I think Kansas City's got enough weapons and can't overstate how important that home field advantage is, especially after not really having it for a year and a half. It makes a massive, massive difference. So give me Kansas City here -6. And then I played Travis Kelce today. I played this one over 89.5 receiving yards for him. This number's a little soft. I have it all the way up to 102 in the simulations. If you've followed Kelce, played these props before, you know that this number is routinely 95 plus at certain points in the season. Mm-hmm. Based on what I've seen in the betting market, I actually like it even more. I love that we're getting sharp action on Cleveland. That means the game's going to be even more competitive. That's going to mean additional targets for Travis Kelce. I like that a lot. I'm stunned that this number hasn't moved to 92. I think that that's at least where it should be in this matchup. So those are the 2 plays I'm on here.
All right, very good. Let me go to Alex first and then AB. I know, Alex, you're on a prop in this game that you love. What is it?
I am, Coach. Yeah, it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 48.5 rushing yards. I love what the Chiefs did in the offseason, upgrading the offensive line. They traded for Orlando Brown Jr., multiple-time Pro Bowler from the Ravens. They also acquired Joe Thuney, previously on the New England Patriots. He's a former All-Pro. They spent a lot of draft capital on upgrading the line. I think the Chiefs' offensive line is going to be significantly improved. They also seem to have a lot of faith in Edwards-Helaire. They obviously didn't re-sign Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, they have a very minimal talent in the backfield. Only Darrell Williams is behind him on the depth chart. I love Clyde Edwards-Helaire this year. I think he's really being slept on, and I think he's going to easily eclipse 50 yards.
Oh, I like that prop. AB, you got some on this?
Yeah, I got the Chiefs 5.5, obviously. And look, here's the deal. It's also going to be hot as hell out there at Arrowhead. It's going to be above 90 degrees. Not that I'm going weatherman like my man Mike, but what I am saying is this. With the Browns defense, if they're going to be on the field long strouts throughout the day, it is going to help Kansas City absolutely. And Travis Kelce, this is a perfect game for him. These are the games that he just takes over.
No. Ding, 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 since we don't have a sounder yet. We have a winner in our perfect parlay contest at John29294980. Officially the new worst Twitter handle of all time. But you are a winner, and you're a part of our community at John29294980. You are a winner of a free year-long sub. The jeweler will reach out to you and give you all the details. There it is. If we get to 200 likes, and we've got a lot of people watching the show right now. It shouldn't be that hard to get to 200 likes. Just hit that like button. Even if you have a year-long sub, help somebody else get it. All right, moving on. We got a few more games to get to. And you can feel the crowds are starting to – it's less than 20 minutes from kickoff. This is the best time of the week to get you set. So, moving on, the next game, and this is a game a lot of people have their eyes on. Two former Alabama quarterbacks, Tua for the Dolphins, Mac Jones, rookie starting for the Patriots. Bill Belichick shocked the world when they released Cam Newton. It is now Mac Jones's team, and he's a favorite on week 1. Mikey, let's start with you. Your thoughts on a rookie quarterback being a favorite at home for the Patriots.
I mean, if there's a rookie quarterback in a team and a system that he's playing in that's going to be a favorite week 1, it's got to be the Patriots with Belichick. So I don't mind it. I think that I have questions on both sides of the ball here. I didn't play it. It tells me that I want to lay it with the Patriots here. My head tells me that shouldn't be laying that number on the 3.5, but so I'm not playing it. I like Mac Jones. I think that the Patriots wanted him. They got him for a reason. There's a reason why they let Cam Newton go. They're all in at this point. So the only thing I will say here is I think that they do have a decided edge on the offensive line. I think they're going to protect him. They've got Harris in the backfield, but I think they're going to get him some short throws to the running backs, to the tight ends. They've got a great set of tight ends here. So I think they're going to get him some short throws, get him in rhythm. And I think that their goal here is they're going to obviously try and get out of town get the win, but I think that they're going to protect him at all costs. They're going to try and build his confidence as much as they can. So I like it. I haven't bet the game. If I had to absolutely bet the game at this point, I would take the Patriots.
Coach, let me tell you an absolute true story. A year ago, when Mac Jones was first taking over as a quarterback of Alabama, he goes out to one of his first practices. He's tearing the defense apart. Nick Saban stops the practice, yells at Mac Jones and says, "Hey, calm down. We're just trying to work on things." Mac Jones screamed out at him, said, "How about you tell your defense to stop it?" This is how aggressive this kid is. I'm telling you. So watch. He is going to come out firing the ball. I think Mike is exactly right. Look at Jonnu Smith. Look at the running backs. I'm not saying it's going to work out 100%. But the kid is aggressive as hell. Watch him today. It's going to be a fun one. I assure you that.
We said the same thing to some dude who was hating on Mikey during his 20-game run earlier this year. We're like, hey, bet against him. You want to talk trash? And it just game after game after game. Somebody stop him square. That's what we always said. I know there is a big-time prop in this game that, Alex, you are on. What is it?
There is, Coach. It's Jacoby Myers over 3.5 catches. I think Jacoby Myers is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. He averaged just a hair under 5 catches a game last year and 60 receiving yards per game, and that was with Cam Newton behind center. He had at least 4 catches and hit this over in 9 of 12 games last year as well. Cam only averaged 177 passing yards per game. So the fact that this guy was that productive with Cam behind center was very impressive to me. I expect Mac Jones to be a significant upgrade at quarterback. New England just doesn't have a lot of talent in the receiver group whatsoever. They signed Nelson Aguilar, who's very iffy to play. Also, Jacoby plays out of the slot. We know historically how well slot receivers do in Bill Belichick offenses, going back to Wes Welker, obviously Julian Edelman. They just command a huge target share. So, yeah, I think this will be the last time we see Jacoby Myers as low as 3.5 catches this season.
Wow, it's amazing that you have to get ahead of the number in week 1 because it's going to go up in week 2. That's how sharp these guys are here on this show. They're always ahead of the number. By the way, speaking of ahead of the number, Mac Jones, Sia loves this prop, under 230.5 passing yards. And I want to put a picture up on the screen because I want the Dolphins to understand that this is the dude that's going to be tearing them apart today. This was Mac Jones in his, well, we should say less svelte, less in shape self, but best believe the strength and conditioning coach, that will never happen again in the NFL. Let's go under just because of that picture, 230 passing yards. All right, moving on because we're getting down to it just over 10 minutes from the start of the 1 o'clock game. So we are going to go Packers and Saints. This is one that has been bet heavily. The Packers are really good on the road. The Fighting Jameis Winstons are getting now 3.5. Now, AB, I want to start with you because you gave this game out a while back, but something happened to us that canceled the bet. Explain to people who may be a little confused on what happened on this game.
Yeah, a month and a half ago, we were on this game. We got Packers plus 2.5. It was before Aaron Rodgers showed up to camp. He shows up to camp. It goes from plus 2.5 to minus 2.5. But then, obviously, with the effects of the hurricane down there, they move the game. And when they do, sportsbooks void those bets. So we kind of had to start over here. I think the Green Bay Packers are still a great play, especially with all of the defensive players that are missing from the New Orleans Saints defense, Marshawn Lattimore included. You look at Aaron Rodgers, I have no doubt that this man is going to come out on fire and doing his thing. Yeah, it hurts to lose that plus 2.5, but the Packers are still a good bet here.
But let's point out that they have 2 great running options, which is why my man Alex is all over a prop here that most of the public probably would say initially, just seeing it on paper, Alex, wait a second. This is Aaron Rodgers. He's a gunslinger. But wait a second. Tell me not. What do you got?
Yeah, Coach. So I've got Aaron Rodgers under 39.5 passing attempts. I gave this out earlier on the week, I believe Thursday or Friday. I think it's actually down to 37.5 right now. I would avoid it at that number if you can still find it at 38.5 or 39.5. I like it. But yeah, Rodgers, despite what the public perception might be, just doesn't throw a ton. And he was held under this total in 15 of 18 games last year, including the playoffs. He averaged only 32 passing attempts per game in the regular season last year. Opponent quarterbacks that faced the Saints were held under this total in 13 of 16 games. The Packers are perennially one of the slowest paced teams in the league. They didn't make any notable changes or upgrades to their receiver group outside of, signing Randall Cobb in the offseason. I expect them to lean heavily on the running game. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. Yeah, I just don't also expect Green Bay to be playing from behind and have to throw a ton in this game. So, yeah, I like the under here a lot.
How many times over the years have we watched a Green Bay Packers game and they'll jump up 21-0? We're like, yeah, they're going to win 42-10. And then they just milk the clock. Aaron Rodgers takes the play clock all the way down to 5. And you're like, score! But this is why he's the greatest, or one of the greatest. Ball managers, game managers, whatever you want to call them. All right, we've got one more game. Oh, Mikey, go ahead. Sorry, pal.
I just want to make a comment on this one, too. I know that a lot of you want to bet the Packers. If you are considering betting on the Saints for them to cover the spread, I'd like to caution it just a little bit and maybe look at an Alvin Kamara player prop. Look for combined receiving and rushing yards. You can currently get that 105 yards. I have about a 19-yard edge in the simulations on that one. So there are very few scenarios in which the Saints cover this spread that Kamara doesn't rack up at least 105 combined yards in this game. They have to lean on him, in my opinion, in this game. So that's one that you can hit both sides of that bet. There's a very good chance he racks up 106 plus yards, and they still do not cover the spread against the Packers in this one. So I love the Kamara number. You play it on the receiving at 48 if you want. There is a little edge there, about 5.5 yards. Not really meaningful at the minus 115 number, but I do like the over 105 combined. Again, I think that should be closer to in the 120s.
Alex, let's go to you. I know you got something.
Just sticking in the New Orleans backfield. I like a prop a lot, and I also like a sprinkle a lot. It's Tony Jones Jr. over 21.5 rushing yards. For those of you that don't know, he is the backup running back in New Orleans. He's the backup to Kamara. They cut Latavius Murray in the offseason. Jones Jr. was awesome in the preseason. He averaged 9 yards per carry. He looked really good. The Saints seem to have a ton of confidence in him. Last year, Latavius Murray averaged 10 carries a game. So even if he absorbs, let's say, 80% of that work, that's still 8 carries. I think this will easily get him over that number. It's very low. I also think a sprinkle, Tony Jones, a touchdown is plus 650 at Caesars. And I think there's a good chance that he gets a red zone carrier too. So yeah, if you find that, I think that is absolutely worth a sprinkle.
Yep.
Look at you promoting. Go ahead, Mikey.
I just say I completely agree with it. And I think that you'll see some sets where you have Jones and Kamara on the field together today. I think that's going to be incredibly popular, especially if the game gets competitive. They're not going to take Alvin Kamara off the field. He might be a decoy for a play or two, but these guys are going to be on the field together at some point in this game.
We are 9 minutes away from kickoff at the 1 p.m. Eastern time. You're watching the Early Edge Live. By the way, I encourage you to follow Caesar Sportsbook on social media on Twitter because they're constantly giving out different plays, different promotions. That's a great place to start if you want to play at Caesars. All right, the last game we will hit on, and a reminder, we'll be back at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, getting you ready for Sunday Night Football and looking back at all of these bets we gave out today, and hopefully a bunch of them hit. The Broncos currently giving 2.5 on the road in the Meadowlands against the Giants. The total sitting at 41.5. This is also a 4:25 Eastern game on Fox. Teddy Bridgewater, 21-3 against the spread on the road in his NFL career. Think about that for a second. RJ, where we stand, is on the under in this game. He got it at 42.5. It's come down 1. So, AB, let's start with you as we just have a couple of minutes left here.
Yep. This game is kind of disgusting. I really don't like the spread nor the total, but if I had to bet it, I would go with Teddy Bridgewater. He makes this Broncos team a much better overall team than the New York Giants. So, yeah, if you're going to bet it one way, take Teddy.
Mikey, what do you make of this? This one just – I looked at it, I was like, it screams stay away to me. It screams that.
Yeah. Look, it's a lot like that Minnesota game, frankly. Everyone wants to bet Denver -3. Everyone wants to bet Minnesota -3. The sportsbooks, frankly, probably want you to bet that one as well. I'm staying away from it. The best thing I can say is thank goodness there are 13 games before the Sunday Night Football game. This one falls in that category of I don't have to watch it. You couldn't pay me to watch it, especially since I don't have any action on it. So I'm going to avoid this one. I get why people would want to lay it with Denver. Still, it's a road game with a mountain team, West Coast team. I think that there's a lot going on there. They do have their defense to lean on, but if I had to do anything, I think it would be an underplay like RJ did. And even then, I don't have a lot of interest.
AB?
Yep, completely agree. It's gross. If I had to lean one way, it'd be Teddy, but yeah, I don't like anything in this game.
All right, very good. Before we get out of here, we would be remiss if we didn't, Alex, give the people, because you're our prop guru, give me the two. Give me two props that you love more than anything else today. Give me two.
Before that sermon news, I would have said Raheem Mostert. I still like it a lot, but I would say Tyler Boyd 4.5 catches, and I'd say Jacoby Myers over 3.5 catches. Also, a prop I didn't give out that I want to just mention really quick. If you can find this number, is Jalen Waddle over 31.5 receiving yards or over 2.5 catches. That number just came out late last night. I jumped on it personally. Very low. Could be another Rondale Moore situation. Like Mike mentioned, this is the last time we see the number that low. So, yeah, if you can find Dolphins receiver Jalen Waddle, over 2.5 catches, 33.5 yards. Love both overs. Will Fuller's out. He's going to get a big target share. Love him.
Very good. Did you also have a Darius Slayton play? I
did, Coach. Yeah. So in this game, we were talking about unders. I like unders as well. As far as props are concerned, it's Darius Slayton under 40.5 yards. He was getting phased out of the Giants offense last year, and that was before they signed Kenny Golladay in the offseason, spent a first-round draft pick on Kadarius Toney. He was held under in 5 of the last 6 Giants games. The number's 40.5. So under 40.5 for Darius Slayton. I think the Broncos have a very stingy secondary, possibly the best secondary in the league on paper. It's going to be a low scoring game. Daniel Jones is not going to play well. He's going to be under pressure. And Darius Slayton under, fading him. Big time, Coach.
Love it. Hopefully you wrote all those down that he gave you out throughout the hour. He is the prop stars for a reason. 30 seconds, Mike, your final advice to the good people at home.
Enjoy it. We've waited a long time for this. We got fans in the stands. Just enjoy it. And remember, we're playing for basically 20 straight weeks. There's no reason to press too hard early in the season here. You can press where you have edges, but you don't have to bet every game. So find your edges, stick with it, and come back and see us in about 8 hours.
AB?
Have fun tonight with that Rams defense against Andy Dalton. They're going to whip him around all night long.
And we'll get everybody ready for that game throughout the day as well. We love our loyal listeners and watchers. So we're going to end the show with this one from Mr. Monty Burns. And he says, time to grab a beer before kickoff. Great show. Good luck to everybody. And we're going to end it 4 minutes early so you can get all these plays in that you've been watching for the last hour. We love doing it. We do it for you. Let's, Jeweler, do we have a monster recap that we can throw up just for a second? I know it's a lot of plays. I don't know if we do or not.
I got something for you. Give me 1 second. If you can vamp.
Okay.
Multiple full screens.
Multiple full screens. Wow. Okay. I can't wait for this. By the way, so many good comments today, guys. Keep them coming. Tell your friends about the show. All we do is rip through them. There's no bias. There's no politics. There's nothing. Just sports. What do you got for us, Jeweler? Oh,
boom, right there.
We'll
take that Packers off.
I feel like I'm at church right now. All right, here you go. You can see it now. I'm not going to read through all of them, but you can see the plays that we've given out since Tuesday. These are what we're locked and loaded. These will be in our official record. You've had them. There's the, Dave, Alex, Sia for our props that we've given out Friday and also today. Get them down. I'll let it sit there for a second. And we're going to be doing this again every single Sunday from noon to 1 Eastern time. All right. You know what time it is. Week 1. Let's go. Third one. Here we go. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my man M Squared, for AB, for the guru, Alex, at PropStars on Twitter, and the jeweler, Next Level Producing remotely. It's so difficult. He does an amazing job, and the jeweler does not get enough credit. So I want to give him credit right here and right now. Enjoy the 1 o'clock games. Enjoy the 4:25 Eastern games. We'll be here at 7 Eastern, and we'll sweat those late games with you live right here on the show. What's the show called? I'm glad you asked. We like to call it The Early Edge. Good luck. Do you want best bets in your feed every single day? All you have to do is hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Early Edge.